The moving truck pulled up slowly, its engine humming against the quiet of Maplewood Drive. Children leaned out of car windows, their eyes wide with excitement as they looked at the house that was about to become their home. It wasn't a mansion, but to the Johnson family, it was everything they had worked for. Fresh white paint, a trimmed yard, a porch big enough for summer evenings. Angela Johnson stepped out of the car first. She closed her eyes and breathed in the moment. Years of saving, 2 jobs at once, countless sacrifices, all for this. Her husband, Marcus, placed an arm around her shoulder. "We made it," he whispered. Their kids, Jordan and Maya, ran across the lawn, already planning hide-and-seek games. It was more than just a house. It was the beginning of a new chapter. But as the Johnsons unloaded boxes, a few blinds across the street shifted. Curious eyes watched. A man paused while watering his plants. 2 women walking their dogs slowed their steps. And though no words were spoken, Angela felt it. The stares, the silence, the unspoken question, do they belong here? That day, the Johnsons thought they had found their dream home. But what they didn't know was that their fight was only just beginning. Angela Johnson had always believed in hard work. As a nurse, she worked long shifts, saving every spare dollar. Marcus, a high school teacher, poured his heart into guiding students while balancing side jobs on weekends. For years, their dream was simple: a home in a safe neighborhood where their children could grow, play, and dream bigger than their parents ever could. Every Friday night, they'd sit at the kitchen table with a notebook, writing budgets, cutting back on vacations, skipping new clothes, saving every cent. The kids, Jordan, age 12, and Maya, just 8, would draw pictures of the house they imagined. Jordan sketched basketball hoops and a treehouse. Maya filled her pages with flowers, swings, and a bright red front door. So when the realtor called to say their offer had been accepted, the family celebrated with tears and laughter. This was their reward, their proof that they belonged in the American dream. But what they didn't fully understand was that their dream came with an invisible gatekeeper, the Homeowners Association, or HOA. The HOA wasn't just about mowing lawns and collecting fees. It controlled everything: what color doors could be, how many cars could park, even what kind of flowers could grow in front yards. In theory, it was about order and beauty. In practice, it often became about power. And in this neighborhood, power was not neutral. When the Johnsons moved in, the HOA watched. The first letter arrived 2 weeks later. Marcus found it in the mailbox, a crisp white envelope stamped with the HOA's seal. He opened it on the porch while sipping his morning coffee. "Dear homeowner," it began, "your front lawn is not in compliance with community standards. Please correct the issue within 10 days. Marcus frowned. He looked at the lawn, green, freshly mowed, even edged neatly along the walkway. Angela joined him, reading over his shoulder. "What are they talking about? The lawn looks fine." They brushed it off as a mistake. But 10 days later, another letter came, this time with a $100 fine attached. The following week, a second notice arrived: too many vehicles parked in driveway overnight. Marcus counted. They're 2 family cars. Meanwhile, the Smiths across the street had 3 trucks and a camper parked with no complaints. Angela sighed. "It's only us." "Why only us?" At first, they tried to comply. They paid the fines, double-mowed the lawn, parked both cars tightly in the garage. But the letters kept coming. Unapproved decorations on front porch. It was Maya's little flower pot with her name painted on it. Noise complaint for loud music. They had been playing jazz softly during dinner. Each envelope felt heavier than the last. Each fine a reminder: you don't belong here. At night, Jordan whispered, "Mom, did we do something wrong?" Angela hugged him tightly. "No, baby. We didn't." But deep inside, she feared the answer. The letters became relentless. Every week brought a new accusation, a new fine. Angela began to dread the sound of the mailbox closing. The family's once joyful dinners grew heavy. Jordan stopped inviting friends over. Maya stopped planting flowers. Marcus grew quiet. Neighbors who once smiled when the Johnsons first arrived now avoided eye contact. Some whispered as the family passed. At school, Jordan heard it from a classmate: My dad says you people don't keep up houses right. He came home angry. What does that even mean? Why are they saying that? Angela had no answer. She only had tears. One evening, as Marcus pulled into the driveway, a man across the street muttered just loud enough, "There goes the neighborhood." Marcus gripped the steering wheel until his knuckles turned white. He wanted to fight back, to shout, but Angela placed her hand on his. "Don't. That's what they want." The final straw came when the HOA threatened legal action for failure to maintain community standards. Marcus slammed the letter onto the kitchen table. "This is harassment. We're following every rule, but they won't stop." Angela's voice broke. "They don't want us here, Marcus. That's all this is. They don't want us here." The family debated selling. But selling would mean giving in, proving the HOA right. And this was more than a house now, it was a battle for dignity. The Johnsons decided to attend the next HOA meeting. They walked into the community center with heads held high. Neighbors stared. Some shifted uncomfortably. Angela spoke first. Her voice was calm but firm. "We've received dozens of letters. We've paid fines. We've complied with every demand. But we are still being targeted. Why?" Silence. Papers shuffled. Eyes avoided hers. Marcus stood. "We counted. Other homes have more cars, more decorations, bigger lawns. Yet only we receive notices. Why is that?" Finally, the HOA president, Mr. Daniels, cleared his throat. His words were coded in politeness but sharp with meaning. "We simply want to preserve the character of this neighborhood." Angela's chest tightened. She knew what he meant. Character. A word used as a mask for something uglier. Marcus looked around the room. "If by character you mean fairness, then we're on your side. But if by character you mean people like us don't belong here, say it plainly." No one answered. The silence was louder than words. Just as the Johnsons prepared to walk out, a voice rose from the back. It was Mrs. Rivera, an older neighbor who had lived there for years. "This isn't right," she said. "I've seen it. The Johnsons take better care of their home than half the street. These letters are not about grass or cars. They're about prejudice." The room shifted. Some neighbors looked down, guilty. Others glanced at each other nervously. Then Mr. Thompson, who had stayed quiet all meeting, added, "She's right. If we stay silent, we're part of the problem." The president bristled. "That's enough." But the voices kept coming. One after another. Small at first, then stronger. "They deserve fairness. This isn't who we should be. They belong here." For the first time, the Johnsons weren't alone. With community support, the Johnsons filed a formal complaint against the HOA. Legal advisors stepped in. The pressure grew. The HOA backed down. Some rules were re-examined, fines erased, policies changed. It wasn't an easy victory. Some neighbors remained cold. Some prejudice never left. But the Johnsons stayed. Not because it was easy, but because leaving would have meant surrendering their dignity. Angela stood on the porch one evening, watching her kids laugh as they played basketball. The same porch where she once cried in fear. This was still their home. And now, it was also their victory. Racism doesn't always shout. Sometimes, it hides in letters, in rules, in silence. But silence can be broken. One voice can inspire another. One act of courage can ripple through a community. The Johnsons taught us something important. A house is just bricks and wood. But a home is where dignity lives. No HOA, no letter, no prejudice has the right to take that away. So when you see injustice, whether in your neighborhood, your school, or your workplace, don't stay silent. Stand up. Speak out. Because every family deserves a home without hate.